Greetings, scholars. It's Brian one more time. It's time for Lane's Logs. This week we're headed into Module 4. This is a really important one. I've got some important announcements I wanted to talk about. Let me review the discussion thread that we had for Module 3. Let me talk about what's going to happen in Module 4's discussion, and then finally give some comments about the outline and the bibliography that's due for the final paper with the fourth module as we're heading into it right now. All right, so let me talk to you about the first thing, the third module. I really enjoyed reading everyone's posts on the fast versus slow zombie. I know, kind of a fun post, kind of an opportunity for us to take stock on things, but really important because the fast and the slow, as some of the essays that we read, those are things that change as society changes. Now, one thing I did want to point out is I noticed a lot of people commented in their original posts that really the fast versus the slow zombie was just a director's decision. Now, here's the question that I have for you. Why is it that when we were talking about the temporality of the zombie, that you said, oh, that's up to a director, and a director like Danny Boyle gets to choose whether they move fast or whether they move slow? But when we were talking about other themes, race, colonialism, imperialism, even gender, nobody said that was just a director's choice. Think back to our first module when we were watching White Zombie, when we were commenting on the incredible racism of those films from the 1930s. Nobody looked at that and said, hey, this was a director's choice to portray all the characters that way. We all saw those as larger societal things. Why is it then with the speed of the zombie, we think that is something the director gets to choose from? I mean, I posted a question in the thread, aren't the directors themselves rhetorical agents? I mean, aren't they constructed by the rhetoric of their times? And thus, aren't those choices somewhat societal constructs themselves? I mean, I think we ought to really think about this, why with some constructs like race, colonialism, imperialism, gender, we said, well, that's just about the society at the time. But then when I asked you about a slow-moving or a fast-moving zombie, you were like, well, that's the director's choice. They have free will on that. They can do whatever they want. No, my friends, that is a rhetorical question. To what extent is the situation guiding, and what extent there is free will for the rhetors in the situation? It's something worth thinking about. Second thing I want to discuss, we're moving into Module 4, and with that we're taking on The Walking Dead, the just gigantic behemoth of a franchise. It's a graphic novel, it's a television series, it's a spin-off of a television series, it's more than one video game, it's a mobile game now, there's all kinds of things going on. I want you to know that there's a change to the discussion post that goes on right now. I know it's been really difficult to stay abreast of all of the different posts and conversations. So for Module 4 and Module 5, let's try and do it as a group discussion post. Everybody's already been randomly assigned to different groups for our participants in the class. And now when you post in Module 4 and Module 5, you'll only see the original posts from your group members. Yeah, there's a chance that you might miss out on some incredible post that somebody else made, but the benefit is you'll only have to respond to and read and keep track of 10 other people as they are making their posts and discussions during the week, instead of trying to stay on top of a discussion with 50 people in it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think this is a much better way for us to do it, and Canvas allows us this functionality. Let's give it a shot and see if we can have a much richer discussion for Module 4 and Module 5. I'm interested in your feedback at the very end. Now finally, the third thing. The assignment for Module 3 was to do an outline and a bibliography for the final research paper. Morgan and I already went through all of the proposals. We gave feedback. We commented on the bibliography that you're working on. Everybody's still got things they're working on, and that's okay. That's a part of the process. We want you to be in the process of revising. The outline and the bibliography is an opportunity for you to go a little bit further as we move towards the final paper. The reason we have this as an assignment to turn in is to look specifically at the research you're doing and the analysis you're doing. So the research, first of all. So you need to find some more sources. You can use 5 sources out of 10 for the bibliography from things that we're reading together in class, but I told you in the proposal, you need to be an expert on the zombie story that you're writing about. So you need to go out and you need to do some more research on that. So we're looking for 5 scholarly, peer-reviewed sources on that zombie that you're looking at, or something that can help you with it, whether it's the theory or something like that. Expand your research base. Don't think that you're just going to sit in your room alone and write this in a vacuum. That's not how this thing works. Second thing is to outline your analysis. you've really already got the introduction. That really was the proposal. The conclusion, maybe we're still working on that. But the big part of the final paper that we're still working on is the analysis itself. Remember, every essay that we have read and every time we have talked about this in class, we've identified a zombie story, we've connected it to some larger societal theme, and then we've looked for specific characteristics. I'm talking about analyzing scenes, characters, the way the image is presented, the way the sound is presented. This kind of detailed, what in rhetoric we call close textual analysis, you need to be doing that. You haven't had a chance from the proposal yet to think through this, so the outline is an opportunity for you to say, okay, these are the 4 scenes that I'm going to analyze in detail. And that's really what you need to do. Don't sit there and say, I'm going to talk about this whole movie in a couple of pages. That's folly. You'll never be able to cover it in sufficient depth. Identify 3 to 5 scenes, or 3 to 5 characters, or 3 to 5 some kind of facets that you're going to be able to talk about in detail and really give us a good description of what's going on in the story and what you can make of that. In other words, description, interpretation, and then your own evaluation. This is how rhetorical studies works. Now again, a lot of you were looking for templates and stuff. As I said last time, a lot of our essays are really important in this. Pay particular attention this week to the reading on The Walking Dead by John Green and Michaela Meyer, because that is actually an undergraduate seminar paper. That's right, John Green was an undergraduate when he wrote that particular paper, followed up with the professor of the course, Dr. Meyer, and then published it in the journal afterwards. If you can follow along with the analysis that Green is doing there, then you can do this kind of paper. There's a perfect template for you. It's even written by another undergraduate, and it reached publication. If you've got some great ideas, and I know from reading your comments, a lot of you do have really, really great ideas, I'd love to follow up with you after this class. Maybe we can take what you work on in this seminar, our attempt to survive a zombie apocalypse, and turn it into a published essay that other people might be reading and saying, wow, this is great analysis. This takes something I didn't really understand and explains it in a way that makes much, much more sense to me. All right, well, that's it as we head into Module 4. We've got a lot of work to do on The Walking Dead. There's a lot of different things. You can access it online. If you're near Denton, you can go into the media library and they have all of the seasons on disc. You can find some episodes on Netflix. You can find some on Hulu for things. Of course, it's currently running on The Walking Dead on AMC, so if you've got an opportunity, you may be able to see reruns from any opportunity for things like that. I hope you enjoy it. There's a lot to talk about. I'm really excited to follow up. Have a great module as we head into our last few weeks of our zombie survival marathon. Good luck, hunters.